5. It's your choice, to confront or not to confront. We must build dikes of courage to hold back the flood of fear. Martin Luther King, Jr. Like many bullies, Wayne sought out a new victim after Marie fled their partnership. He zeroed in on Arnold. "Hey, little man, what kind of crap is this?" Wayne challenged when Arnold handed him a report at the end of the morning meeting. Arnold felt more than saw his coworkers cast their eyes to the ground and slink away. He'd seen this happen when Wayne had poked fun at Marie. Heck, he'd slunk away himself. What to do? He couldn't think of a thing to say. Perhaps accommodation was the safest route. "I'll take it back and fix it." "You do that, little man," Wayne mocked. "And don't bring me crap again." 4 hours later, Arnold called his wife and said, "I'll be home late. I've got to rework the project." "What? You slaved over that for weeks. You were so proud of it when you finished yesterday." "Well, the boss didn't like it." After he hung up the phone, Arnold looked at his work and ran through ways to defend it if Wayne rejected it again. No magic bullet, he thought. "I'll create a new cover page." That's all Wayne glanced at before tossing it back to me. It's that or get a new job. 7 steps to confronting confrontation. If you face a Wayne, a bully who continually provokes you, here's what works. Step 1. Control your initial reaction. Imagine a large, angry tiger leaping toward you, its teeth bared in a ferocious snarl. If you truly imagine this, you may feel your breath catching, back stiffening, and the urge to run. In the grip of your desire to flee, you lose the battle before it begins. The tiger, able to outrun you, sinks its claws and teeth into your back. When you react to a threat, you rarely think clearly and sometimes don't think at all. If, like most people, your reaction is one of fear, you may temporarily stop breathing, or breathe shallowly and rapidly. When that happens, you momentarily lose easy, simultaneous access to both mental hemispheres, the left and the right. Fear, caused by the bully's intimidation, pulls you toward processing information in your right hemisphere, the hemisphere that comes into play when you emotionally react, develop creative approaches, or access your intuition. To handle bullying, you also need the ability to think and to put your thoughts into language. These functions, along with the ability to strategize and think ahead to future consequences, are located in your left hemisphere. This explains why you may occasionally be unable to speak when upset, or say things you later regret deeply. It also explains why you can realize so much intuitively, yet not be able to use what you perceive in an analytical, problem-solving manner. If you are able to calm yourself by slowing and deepening your breathing, you increase your ability to access left and right hemispheres simultaneously, and to couple analysis and problem-solving with emotion, intuition, and creativity. Brain function. The role of the left and right hemispheres. Left hemisphere. Logic, analysis and problem-solving. Language, sense of future consequences. Right hemisphere. Reaction, emotion, intuition, creativity. The coastline breathing technique. To quickly and successfully learn to slow your breathing, try coastline breathing. Here's how. Imagine you're standing on a beach. Let yourself watch the waves moving first toward and then away from the shore. Does the image of watching waves calm you? If you find the sensation of watching waves relaxing, you're halfway to learning coastline breathing. Now, Notice your breathing as air moves in and out of your nose and chest. Breathing flows like waves. There's an inhalation, a transitional pause, an exhalation, and another transitional pause. In coastline breathing, you notice your breathing rhythm in the same way you might watch waves. Close your eyes and try it. As you focus on your breathing as air flows in and out of your nose and chest, you'll notice the rhythm automatically slows and deepens. Once you can allow your breathing to slow and deepen with your eyes closed, open your eyes and see if you can slow and deepen your breathing simply by paying attention to it. Test this out and allow yourself to slowly breathe while you pay attention to something else, such as the words in this book. You've learned coastline breathing, an essential step in controlling your initial reaction, so the bully no longer takes control of you or the situation. Step number 2. Control your response. Controlling your initial instinctive reaction frees you to respond rather than react and leaves you free to choose whether and how to handle a bully. While you may feel trapped or intimidated by the situation the bully has put you in, you have choices. You simply have to uncover them. Step number 3. Assess the situation. Controlling your response and assessing the situation creatively helps you make a set of choices you'll feel comfortable with and lays the foundation for developing your mental game plan. Ask yourself, what's going on? Is this how I want to be treated? Is this situation or bully worth taking on? If so, how? Before you act, make a detailed assessment of what's going on. In this way, you'll be able to develop the right plan as well as the confidence you need to put your plan into action. Before acting, questions to ask yourself. Imagine that I'm sitting across the table from you and asking you the following questions. It may help to answer them out loud as if I'm right there, or to write out your answers on paper or on your computer. If you prefer, you can simply think through the answers. 1. Describe your bully. Is she new to your organization or a long-term employee? What role does she play in your work life? Is she your boss, a co-worker, or another employee? 2. What do you depend on the bully for, and how does the bully depend on you? Although the bully may frustrate you by not giving you the answers you need to finish projects, if the bully depends on you for information or other assistance, you have leverage. 3. How do others see your bully? Do they see her as a bully or simply as a strong-willed, opinionated individual? What does she bring to the organization in terms of talents? 4. Where and when does the bully hassle you? Behind closed doors or in front of an audience? 5. Was the bullying a one-time incident or is it ongoing? 6. How does she bully you? That is, what does she actually do? Is it the words she uses, her tone of voice, or the look on her face? Pick 1 or 2 instances and describe them in detail. 7. How is the bully's behavior affecting you? 8. Have you told the bully the situation needs to change? Step number 4. Determine why you are the target. Next, ask yourself, why me? Not to blame yourself, which you may have done in the past, but to try to figure out what led this particular bully to select you. Before acting, questions to ask yourself. Ask yourself the following questions. 1. Were you simply in the wrong place at the wrong time, or did you ignore warning signs and stay in a situation you should have left? Does the bully want something you have, whether it's your job or relationships? Does the bully measure himself against you in some way, and because you're older, younger, prettier, smarter, Thinner, married, single, aligned with the boss, more popular or more skilled, consider you a threat to his position or to getting what he wants? 2. Does the bully underestimate you, your resiliency, or your ability to stand up for yourself? If so, how have you contributed to this? Have you signaled you're an easy target or put up with crappy treatment? Have you given away your power? 3. Does your bully think you lack alliances and thus doesn't worry about others coming to your aid? If so, perhaps you can fight back without fighting the bully directly, by developing your relationships with others. Intriguingly, we don't always need to fight the villains in our lives. We simply have to improve our lives. Thus, a bullying incident can be a wake-up call, letting us know we need to make positive changes. 4. Does this person single you out, or is he an equal opportunity problem to everyone? If he bullies others, you may be able to enlist them if you decide to take further action. Step number 5. Analyze the pros and cons of taking on the bully. Before you go on to the next part of the assessment, how are you feeling? By putting a name to any negative emotions, you start to process them. You may also find that writing out or speaking your answers aloud ignites your determination to handle the bully. Before acting, questions to ask yourself. Now decide what you want to do about the situation. Ask yourself a series of questions. 1. Is this how you want to be treated? This may be the simplest part of your assessment. If your answer is no, say it mentally or out loud in a strong, firm voice. No. 2. Is this bully or situation worth taking on? You don't need to tackle every bully or situation. Some people and situations won't change even if you handle the situation effectively. Understanding and accepting this reality and moving on, rather than letting yourself be mowed down, may be the strongest move you could make. Sometimes it feels right to exit the situation. If you decide you're not ready for the fight, or if the eventual gain isn't worth the battle, you might decide the personal cost or consequences make this an effort you'd rather not launch. 3. What will happen if you do nothing? Can you live with yourself if you don't speak up? What do you intend to achieve by confronting your bully? What are the risks you take and the potential negative outcomes if you confront your bully? Are you willing to suffer those consequences? If you take on this fight, will you be able to impact the situation favorably? What resources, time, money, emotional toll, legal fees, brain power, or energy will you need to win your battle? If you choose not to tackle a bully or situation, take pride in your choice. You didn't simply give up, you chose to not act. Step number 6. Take back your power. More often, however, you'll decide it's worthwhile to take on the bully. Perhaps you love everything about your job except how the bully interferes with your work life. Possibly you've come to a point in your life where you feel you owe it to yourself to take a stand instead of allowing bullying to erode your self-esteem or job satisfaction. As you'll learn in chapters 7 and 9, bullies test to see which potential targets might be easy prey. If you initially allow bullying, you encourage repeat, escalated bullying. Further, multiple bully attacks weaken your defenses and impact how others view you. For this reason, if you're wondering whether now or later is the time, now's the time. It makes sense. An "it's worth it" decision pays off in many ways. First, you feel good about yourself when you take a stand, even if you aren't victorious. Second, you discourage escalated bullying. Third, You may succeed and the bully may move on or simply stop messing with you. Fourth, each time you tackle a bully, you exercise skills and strategies that strengthen your mental and emotional anti-bully muscles. Everyone in any workplace has personal power, whether or not they know it or use it. Targets give up their power to the bully. Learn to take back your power by changing how you signal your prey. Taking back your power begins inside you and radiates externally in terms of your visible reaction. As a quick experiment, think of a bully you've met or currently deal with. If you don't have one, imagine that you work for or around Wayne and he's taunting you. How do you react? Do you become tense, feel powerless, or perhaps angry? What happened to your breathing? If your breathing became rapid and shallow, use the coastline breathing technique and notice the difference it makes. This experiment serves as a brief reminder that everything starts with you and your decision to change and take action. You have the power to stay with or leave your job. You may feel you have to stay in your current job. However, that's your choice. If you leave, others in your current workplace lose what you bring to the table. It's your choice. You have the power to take your talents with you. Step number 7. Decide on your game plan. In this final assessment step, if so, how, you decide on your game plan. You'll learn a variety of strategies and the skills you need to carry them out in chapters 7 through 20. Now we'll examine ways to build your confidence so that you can carry out any strategy you choose. The act of stopping a bully starts with you. Confidence-building techniques. Imagine a friend asks you to walk the length of a 2x4 plank laid on the ground. No doubt you could walk the full length. Now imagine the same friend says he'll pay you $10 if you'll walk the plank's length again. Only now she moves it 3 inches off the ground. Chances are you'll smile and do it. Now imagine she raises it 10 feet off the ground and offers you $100 to walk its full length. Would you walk the plank you've walked twice before, or hesitate, psyched out by the fear of falling? Mind power. Now let's try an experiment designed to show you the power of your mind. Please stand. Continue listening, and notice where your feet are. You'll leave your feet in the same position in both phases of this exercise. Now turn your entire body, without moving your feet, to either the right or left side, and look at the furthest spot on the wall you can see comfortably. Without sitting down, turn back so that you're again facing forward. Leaving your feet in the same position as earlier, imagine that a cloud of empowering, relaxing light descends around your head. Allow yourself to feel this relaxing energy, massaging the back and sides of your head and neck. Let yourself feel your neck becoming more supple, flexible, and malleable. Imagine the empowering and relaxing energy continues to descend. It now massages your shoulders and the upper ribs of your back. Allow yourself to feel your back and shoulders becoming looser, more at ease, and much more relaxed. Imagine the light massaging your entire back. Allow your back to continue feeling more relaxed, supple, limber, and at ease. Now, with your feet in the same place as earlier, turn your entire body except for your feet, and notice the furthest spot on the wall you can see comfortably. How much farther do you see? You've just experienced the power of your mind. Mental martial arts. There's more. You're about to learn how to use mental martial arts to strengthen your inner self. When we give mental ground to the aggressor coming toward us, we weaken. Instead, you can use the power of visualization to center yourself so you don't react. Here's why and how this works. We process information in 3 ways: visually, by seeing; auditorily, by hearing; and kinesthetically, by feeling and through physical sensation. Auditory processing, which we use in verbal confrontation, moves at the speed of sound, roughly 80 to 180 words a minute. When you listen to another's words and fully absorb them, you think or process information at a rate of 80 to 180 words per minute. If you mentally dialogue with yourself when another person talks, as in, "Why am I letting this guy do this?" you often miss part of what the speaker says because your mental dialogue processes at the same 80 to 180 words a minute. Kinesthetic or emotional and physical processing moves more slowly than speech, slower than 80 words per minute. Thus, when we get upset, we can't always keep up with conversations. In contrast, visual processing moves at the speed of light, the equivalent of 900 to 1400 words per minute. You can use this difference in processing speed to steady yourself in a confrontation, or when you're nervous or upset, because the slowest visual processing, 900 words per minute, moves more quickly than the fastest auditory processing, 180 words per minute. If you flash on an image in your mind, even as you hear the other person talking, the image can calm you or ground you, while still allowing you to hear the person's words. To see how it works, try this. Close your eyes and see one of your children or your pet in an adorable moment. Or imagine the face of someone you love, or a scene in nature such as a waterfall, a beach, or a sailboat floating calmly on the sea. Now open your eyes and look at whatever surrounds you, and at the same time, without closing your eyes, mentally flash on the image you've created. Flash means you don't become fully absorbed in what you mentally picture. Instead, you momentarily see the image even as you remain fully aware of what's going on around you. You can do this once or several times as you're concurrently paying attention to what's happening outside you. Once you get the hang of mental multitasking, turn on the radio or television and notice that you can hear the words a disc jockey or television personality is speaking, while simultaneously mentally flashing on an image in your mind. Flashing on the visual image allows you to feel centered without missing another person's words. You can even flash on an image while you're talking. Try it. You've now achieved alternate focus, a key step in mental martial arts. By grounding yourself through alternative focus, you come from a centered frame of reference when confronting the bully. No longer do you give full mental control to what the bully says. You can use this same technique with other images to strengthen yourself. Imagine Katharine Hepburn with her head held high, or a majestic mountain such as Mount Everest. Do your neck and back straighten as you think of Katharine? Does focusing in the back of your mind on Mount Everest give you a sense of strength? Now contrast what happens when you visualize an image that centers you with what happens to you when you are confronted and don't use this strategy. When you're confronted or feel threatened, intimidated, anxious, or powerless, you process kinesthetically, at less than 80 words a minute. Confrontation and intimidation can literally dumb you down. As I've demonstrated, it doesn't have to. You can control your reaction with these easy-to-learn strategies. To review: 1. Breathe, so you can simultaneously access both the left and right hemispheres of your brain and add analysis and problem-solving to your emotional and intuitive processing. 2. Assess. Consider what's going on. Is this how you want to be treated? Is this situation or bully worth taking on? If so, how? 3. Visualize. Develop an internal alternate focus by seeing an image that calms you, even as you listen to the other person speak. Your turn. Where are you now? 1. Make coastline breathing a habit. Starting now, commit to practicing coastline breathing at least 3 times a day. Once you find you can easily slow your breathing, commit to using coastline breathing whenever a situation or person takes you by surprise or upsets you. Once coastline breathing becomes a habit, you'll have more control over many situations. 2. What are the benefits for you of coastline breathing? How does it make you feel? More relaxed? Floating? 3. Create 2 powerful images that help you center yourself, and practice visualizing them while listening to others and while you yourself are talking. How does it feel? You might want to create several images. One that relaxes you, another that empowers you, and perhaps another that reminds you how supported you are by God or those who love you. 4. If you haven't yet done so, ask yourself the assessment questions. If this proves stressful, you might want to engage a coach to partner with you as you do the assessment. You may also find coastline breathing and visualization helpful. Do any of your answers surprise you? If so, what is surprising? How do your answers help you break the situation down into manageable pieces? 5. Has your assessment helped you arrive at a decision, or does it better enable you to seek another person's support or help? 6. Thinking through situations, even ones you didn't successfully handle, helps you plan how you will deal with future situations. Commit to regular assessment as you move through beating the workplace bully, adjusting for the new strategies you learn and the successes you achieve. 7. When you learn to control yourself, you learn to control situations and are no longer a victim. You have to be in control to create control. It starts with you. For the next week, breathe when anything challenging, frustrating, or intimidating happens. Notice what happens to you when you breathe, and ask yourself, what are my options? Whatever option you choose, you've now become the one who chooses. 6. Put on your game face. Don't play by the bully's rules. I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. Nelson Mandela. Only one thing stood in the way of Todd getting the promotion he wanted. Floyd. The 2 men couldn't have been more different. Todd, a self-righteously arrogant man, barked orders at his employees and they performed for him. Floyd, a quiet, unassuming individual, earned his employees' respect by doing his job and giving them credit. When Floyd's company made the decision to purchase Todd's, everyone knew that after the merger became complete, one of the 2 men would receive the title of department director, and the other would be demoted from department manager to a line supervisor position. In the 5 months prior to the merger becoming complete, the men frequently sat in the same meetings. Todd seized every opportunity to rattle Floyd. When he learned that Floyd felt self-conscious about his turkey waddle, he stared at Floyd's neck. When the chief executive officer asked Todd and Floyd, along with other managers, to meet with their counterparts and plan how to create efficiencies as they merged departments, Todd scoffed, "That's what you think works?" when Floyd offered his ideas. Todd's bullying worked. Floyd began to stammer, both in Todd's presence and when asked to put forth ideas at managers' meetings. Increasingly, he sat mute. When the senior managers met to choose which of the former managers to promote to director, they selected Todd. "Floyd's a great guy," said one. but he doesn't handle change well. This merger has completely rattled him. Bullies set games in motion, and win if we play their games. If you want to escape a bully's control, you need to put on your game face and then change the game. Put on your game face. Whoever said, "Fake it till you make it," spoke wisely. Here's a quick experiment that may surprise you. Stand or sit as if you're depressed. Your head goes down, your shoulders slump, and your chest bows inward. Now maintain that stance while thinking confidence, energy, enthusiasm, and power. If you're like most people, these positive words make you want to straighten up. Now, stand as if you just won the Publishers Clearinghouse's $1 million prize. Chances are that your demeanor changed to one of exuberance and excitement. Now allow yourself to feel intimidated, fearful, humiliated, or depressed, and, at the same time, try to maintain that joyous stance. Did you find it hard to do? That's the impact of how you feel on how you look. How you feel impacts how you physically stand or sit, and how you stand or sit impacts what you feel. The good news is you can learn how to put on a game face and simultaneously make yourself feel more confident. Look at yourself from the outside in. When a bully confronts you, do you quake inside? Or visibly telegraph that you're intimidated by trembling or reddening? Do you show your fear by breathing rapidly and shallowly? Bullies watch body language and pounce when they detect hesitancy. What if, instead of trembling and breathing faster, you took a calming breath, visualized an image that gave you a sense of strength, and then stood or sat tall with your head up, chin out, and eyes focused on what was in front of you? Not only would you send an "I'm not the easy prey you think" nonverbal message, your stance would have a positive effect on how you felt inside, where you most needed it. Let's try another experiment. Sit like a lady, even you guys, ankles crossed, hands folded in your lap. Could you possibly take up any less space? Do you feel submissive in that position? You do the same thing to yourself when you fear a bully's attack and sit slouched with your eyes averted, shoulders slumped, chest caved in, and head down. In other words, you increase your feeling of surrender. Now sit like a confident, secure, assertive individual, and you'll notice that you immediately take up more space even though your body size doesn't actually change. How do you stand when you are nervous or feel intimidated? Slouched to the side or erect as a strong, assertive, confident person would? Try this experiment. Stand erect, legs apart, head up, eyes open, chin out, and your weight balanced equally on both feet. Notice how it feels. Then slouch to the left or right, lower your head, and hunch your shoulders. In which position do you feel stronger? Take a few minutes to practice sitting tall while you breathe deeply and slowly. You can listen while you do this. How does this posture make you feel? If you're like most of us, physically sitting or standing erect, and thus acting as if you feel confident, both strengthens you from the outside in and sends a message to the bully and others. Let's add additional armor. Just as in the last chapter, you thought of a loved one, child, pet, or nature scene to ground yourself. Visualize an image that gives you strength. Perhaps someone you love, a cherished grandparent, someone who symbolizes bravery or a mountain range. Now, focus on this image as you sit or stand erect. Once you have the image in your mind, practice mentally flashing on it while paying full attention to whatever's going on around you at the same time as you adopt a stance or sitting posture that exudes strength and confidence. By mentally multitasking and marshaling your outward appearance, you will learn to act at ease when confronted, even when initially intimidated by a bully. In this way, you mentally prepare yourself to handle effectively whatever comes, and simultaneously send a strong, non-verbal signal to anyone planning to bully or actually bullying you. Refuse to play the bully's game. Do you remain silent when bullied? Bullies pick on people who don't fight back, and tread on those like Sonia and Tova who allow them to. They count on their ability to intimidate you. They try to control you with demands. They weaken you with demeaning statements. Remain silent and you collude with bullies. If you kowtow, acquiesce, or turn the other cheek, hoping to avoid conflict, you may discover that bullies often slap that other cheek. If you want to avoid bully collusion, you have to speak up in a manner that says, "I stand up to you. I stand up for me." To do otherwise offers bullies a green light. Make the rules. Set limits. A sign outside a coffee shop says, "Unattended children will be given espresso and a free kitten." With that simple statement, the coffee shop declares, "Parents, don't let your kids run loose." Similarly, you refuse to play the bully's game when you decide what is right for you and what you will and won't allow. This means setting boundaries for how you'll let others treat you. It may be hard for you to set boundaries if you don't know yourself, put others' needs and feelings first, fear that setting boundaries might jeopardize relationships you want, don't believe you have rights. You can learn to create boundaries by thinking about the work life you want for yourself, then describing this life in terms of what you feel you have the right to expect from others. These statements become your personal Bill of Rights. My Personal Bill of Rights. Here are some sample statements to get you started. You may decide you want to adopt all of them. You may want to add others. I have the right to my own point of view and to express my opinions. I have the right to judge my own behavior, thoughts, and feelings. I have the right to make my own decisions. I have the right to ask for what I want. I have the right to be successful. I have the right to keep my personal life private. I treat others with respect, and I deserve to be treated with respect. What do these boundaries mean? If you have the right to your own opinions and a workplace bully tells you what to think about coworkers, your supervisor, or situations, you have the right to say, "I don't see it that way." If someone talks over you, you have the right to say what you intended to say after the interrupter finishes. While you generally don't need to interrupt him, don't let his talking over you take away your right to speak. If he does it again, you have the right to say, "Let me finish." If you have the right to judge your own behavior and you work with a judgmental bully who puts you down, you have the right to assess yourself and counter her criticism, or, realizing her negative comments say more about her than they do about you, say nothing. If you have the right to make your own decisions, and you work alongside someone who persists in deciding for you, you have the right to say, "I don't agree. Here's what I've decided." If you have the right to ask for what you want, you can ask for respect in all interactions. You have the right, for example, to ask your boss for a raise. If this leads to an insulting discussion that makes you wither, you have the right to look for a job that offers the respect you deserve. Chapters 8, 9, and 20 offer strategies to use when circumstances prevent you from seeking new employment, and you work for a boss who persistently treats you less well than you deserve. If you have the right to be successful, and a bully coworker proclaims, "You're getting a big head," or, Who do you think you are? When you shine? You have the right to see jealousy for what it is. Chapter 9 offers novel ways to put jealous snipers in their place. If you have the right to keep your personal life private, and the bully at your workplace persists in asking personal questions, you have the right to answer, "That's really none of your business." If you treat others with respect, even when they don't deserve it, it says a great deal about you. It says that respect is one of your core values. Similarly, you absolutely have the right to be treated with respect by everyone in your workplace, whether it's your supervisor, your coworker, or if you supervise others, your employees. If you decide that respect is an inalienable right and someone treats you poorly, you have the right to say, "I don't allow that." Warning: don't violate your own boundaries by smiling at a joke you find offensive, pretending to agree when you disagree, going along with a bully who does something you don't like, concealing your true feelings, pushing yourself or allowing yourself to be pushed beyond your limits, allowing disrespect. Set the rules. End the game. How does refusing to play the game work, and what does it look like in action? When you refuse to play the bully's game, you end the game. "Don't mind me," your bully says. "I do mind." With a single, assertive statement, you change the game. If the bully yells, "Is that all you got done?" at you, you can send your bully a "this far and no further" message by simply answering, "Yes," instead of explaining defensively all you did and how long it took. Can you answer in this way without losing your job if the individual yelling at you is your boss? Let's try it. Your boss yells at you, "Is that all you got done?" The response: "Yes, and what would you like me to handle next?" Avoids defensiveness, yet gives no offense. When you refuse to play the game the bully sets in motion, you end the game. Your turn. Where are you now? 1. During the next 2 days, notice your posture. Are you standing tall? What about when you're confronted by a bully? If you notice yourself shrinking, take a breath. Visualize something that gives you power, and stand tall before you speak. Don't wait until you feel strong inside to act strong. This week, practice standing, sitting, and walking strong every day. You may find that when you first try this, you overdo it. Don't let that stop you. Learning how to stand and walk strong is like learning to ride a bike. Once you get the hang of it, you'll find it feels increasingly natural. Eventually, it becomes second nature. 2. If you haven't yet created an image that gives you a sense of strength or power, create one now. It may help you to consider some of the iconic actresses, Katharine Hepburn, Sandra Bullock, or Barbra Streisand. Or actors, Clint Eastwood, John Wayne, or Denzel Washington, who've played strong roles. Or you could find a picture on the internet of a mountain peak, Denali, Everest, that symbolizes steadfast strength. 3. Find a mirror and walk toward it. If you were watching you, what would you see as you walked forward? Are your shoulders slumped? Is your chin tucked down? How would you describe your body language if you didn't know you? Back up and walk forward again with good posture, your back straight, your shoulders squared, and your head up. Here's a challenge. All week long, practice walking forward with strong strides and your head up, chin out, eyes open, and shoulders back. 4. This week, try an experiment. In at least one situation, pretend to be brave even if you don't feel brave. What changed? How did it feel? 5. Do you have or have you ever had a bully in your work life? If not, imagine what it would be like and answer these questions accordingly. How does your body language change when you're around this person? When you walk into the bully's office or work area, does your head go down? Do your shoulders slump? Do you cringe or slightly cower? 6. If you resolved that from this day forward you will project an air of self-confidence, what will you tell yourself to help you accomplish this? How will you change your body language? 7. Create your personal Bill of Rights. What does each right mean to you? 8. What prevents you from exercising those rights? How will your life be different if you do? 9. Describe 1 or 2 situations in which you need to establish boundaries. What boundaries might you establish? How could you express those boundaries creatively, as did the coffee house that let parents know unattended children would be given a free kitten? 10. What makes setting boundaries hard for you? 11. Have you ever violated your own boundaries? If so, where and when? What led you to do so? 12. Have you heard a bully statement recently? If not, make one up. What game over response could you have given? 13. If you want further aid in standing tall or marshaling your inner and outer strength, call local martial arts studios. Most give 1 free lesson, and you may find you love martial arts training. 14. What insights did you get from this chapter? How can you benefit from them? 7. The 8 most common bully traps and how to avoid them. Courage is fire, and bullying is smoke. Benjamin Disraeli. Likeable Adam prided himself on seeing the best in everyone, so when Jeff blasted Adam's ideas for reshaping their department at the staff meeting, Adam thought, Jeff's just having a bad day. Later, Jeff said in a stage whisper to his sidekick, Our baby manager's pitiful. Can you believe the garbage that comes out of his mouth? Adam told himself that Jeff was just having a hard time because Adam had received the promotion Jeff wanted and would come around if given time. Later that week, as Adam carried 2 hot, brimful cups of tea back to his desk for another manager and himself, Jeff deliberately bumped into him. Yow! Yelped Adam. Jeff guffawed and asked the young receptionist passing them in the hallway, You hear that cat imitation? She giggled. Not knowing what to say, Adam said nothing as he moved off. Adam didn't let his manager know about any of this because, 1, he thought he should be able to handle the Jeff situation himself, and 2, he feared his manager would think he'd promoted the wrong employee if he couldn't. If, like Adam, you take the ostrich approach, you signal you're easy prey and give your bully time to gain the upper hand and allow him to take aim at your vulnerabilities. Bullies lay traps. They thrive on pushing your buttons and making you react. In that way, they lead you to make mistakes that give them the upper hand. Knowledge is power. In this chapter, you will learn how to recognize and avoid these bully traps, and, if you fall into one of them, you will learn how to spring up and climb out. Bully trap number 1. Denial. Pretending what's happening isn't. Many targets fall into this trap and deny they're being bullied because if they admitted what was happening, they'd have to act. Some people outright deny what's happening. Others minimize, rationalize, or intellectualize what they see and feel. They may even convince themselves that the bully's actions are justified, leaving them with no one to blame but themselves. I must have done something to provoke this. If, when you were growing up, someone taught you not to trust your feelings, the lesson you derived was that other people could disregard how you felt. This led you to believe you had no right to protest a bully's taunts. Bullies love victims who distrust their own feelings. Avoid the denial trap. Instead of looking the other way or downplaying the situation, let the bully know by your words and actions, "I see what you're doing. It stops now." Adam could have moved from doormat to "don't keep messing with me" status by saying, "Jeff, I get that you think you would have been a better choice than I, but you weren't selected, so get over it." Fear, including worry that his manager might feel he made the wrong choice given Jeff's resistance, prevented Adam from standing up for himself when, in fact, doing so would have reinforced in his manager's mind that he'd chosen well. Your bully's defeat begins when you admit what's happening and acknowledge the part you play in it. Stop giving bullies the benefit of the doubt. With awareness comes power. Bully trap number 2. Collusion. Giving bullies an outpost in your head. This was the trap into which Anne fell. She blamed herself for telling Carla things about her personal life that Carla then embellished and spread throughout the office to undermine her. Anne further beat herself up for wanting a friendship with Carla, and told herself that she was needy. Bullied by Carla, Anne tore at her own self-esteem by criticizing herself for falling prey to a bully's manipulation. Head nurse Molly wilted under narcissist bully Pauline's relentless "you're not competent" onslaught, and soft-hearted Sonia cowered when Alice verbally abused her. Both Molly and Sonia wondered what they had done wrong to deserve the treatment they received. You might be mentally calling out "nothing" on Molly and Sonia's behalf. However, targets often let a bully's words and actions seep into their minds. Disheartened, Molly retired earlier than she had planned. She let Pauline steal her belief in herself and her pride in 20 years of accomplishment, which included successfully managing both her job and the one Pauline was hired to do. Pauline did a number on Molly, and Molly accepted Pauline's verdict. Like Molly, Sonia let a bully flatten her self-esteem. When Alice told Sonia makeup would help, and heels might make a difference in how your butt looks, Sonia bought new makeup and wore heels to work the next day. Sonia even thanked Alice when she announced, "I'm getting you a haircut coupon for Christmas," not realizing until Alice's audience snickered that she'd been set up. Sonia not only let Alice's words seep into her thoughts, she joined forces with Alice by beating herself up for allowing the abuse. If instead Sonia had responded, "How dare you? Do you need to make yourself feel bigger by taking someone else down?" it would have made a world of difference. Never collude with a bully by giving the bully an outpost in your mind. A bully's judgmental comments bump into your emotional and mental space, in the same way a bully stepping on your foot bumps into your physical space. If you swallow a bully's judgment, or allow the bully to shape how you see yourself, you aid and abet the bully. Don't let any bully define who you are. You have the right to judge your own behavior. After all, who knows you better than you do? In chapters 8 and 10, you will discover how to develop a tough mental skin, rout the bully from your mind, and develop your fighting spirit. Bully trap number 3. Delusion. Expecting the bully to change. Marie hoped to work things out with Wayne, thinking that her talent and willingness to let Wayne take the lead in most matters would win him over. Despite or because of Marie's skills and accomplishments, Wayne wanted her to lose more than he wanted her as a partner. Wayne barked orders at Marie, put her down in front of employees, criticized the quality of her work, and complained about her standards. He spread rumors that she'd won projects by sleeping with clients, and made grievous errors costing their company revenue and other clients. Do bullies listen? Will they change? Why should they when they believe they can say, "It's my way or the highway," and others will fall into line? Bullies lack internal brakes, rationalize their behavior, and feel justified. While you believe in win-win, bullies hold win-lose beliefs. Bullies hear what they want to hear, their own rationalizations. When you don't meet a bully's aggression with a firm halt, he considers you less savvy than he is, and therefore someone who deserves being walked on. No one deserves that. Hoping for good treatment from a bully is like entering a ring with a bull, believing he'll leave you alone because you're a vegetarian. Bullies don't need to change. What they do works for them. You give your bully power when you leave it up to him to realize what he is doing and decide to improve. Marie didn't realize this in time and paid for it with her self-esteem. Instead of hoping in vain that a bully will realize that his actions hurt you and change, you are the one who needs to change, both your words and actions, in order to outsmart the bullies in your work life. Chapters 9 through 20 offer specific strategies for making bullies change their ways. Bully trap number 4. Diminishment. Reacting angrily or stooping to the bully's level. Silent Grenade Mike scared 9 out of 10 employees. "He's spooky," said an employee who quit after a week. "Sort of like the psycho Hannibal Lecter in Silence of the Lambs." Big Mitch fought fire with fire, and paid for it with his job and subsequent damage to his career. When Mike barked at him, Mitch growled back. When Big Mitch continued speaking after Mike interrupted him, a jaw-tightened, white-faced Mike gave Mitch the stare, telling him to sit up straight during a staff meeting. Although everyone in the meeting temporarily stopped breathing, Big Mitch simply stared back at Mike. In a fury, Mike ended the meeting, slamming the door as he left the conference room. Mitch followed him. Mike wheeled around, saw him, and jabbed his fingers at Mitch's eyes. Mitch reached out, grabbed Mike's fingers and twisted them backward. Mike pulled his hand back and hollered, "You're out of here." "You bet I am," shouted Mitch. After Mitch left, everyone breathed easier until the police came. Mike filed assault charges against Mitch, saying Mitch had attacked him without provocation after staring at him like a lunatic. Although Mitch's attorney contacted them, no other employee contested Mike's version of the incident. Mitch lost his job and added an arrest to his resume. While few targets fight back as aggressively as Mitch did, some bully victims get angry and seek revenge by giving back as good as they got. They've finally had enough and get nasty. This rarely works. When you use bullying tactics, you look like the bad guy, or at least seem to be as much of a problem as the bully. You may even enable the bully to play the victim to a duped audience. Further, bullies have years of experience fighting dirty, giving them the advantage if you climb into the ring. As a result, you generally lose. Worse, you wind up regretting how you acted. Don't fall into this trap by letting a bully push you into being less than the quality professional person you are. Take a deep breath, assess the situation, and act rather than react. Olivia succeeded in this when she encountered a bully on a brutally hot summer day. Soon after Olivia started a new job, her coworkers told her their manager, Jerry, enjoyed bullying and sexually harassing women, and quickly fired anyone whose skills threatened him. "What's he still doing here?" Olivia asked. So far, it's been the women's word against Jerry's. Besides, Jerry has powerful friends in the industry, and management doesn't want to act. They're a bunch of male chauvinists. They believe the women who speak up are uppity complainers and neurotic. Besides, Jerry never does it around anyone, so it's always he said, she said. When Olivia received an email from Jerry announcing his intention to conduct her 30-day review at his house, she emailed back, "Not your office?" Jerry replied, "I'm feeling a bit under the weather, but this job review is crucial to your future." Olivia arrived at Jerry's dressed in a tailored business suit with 2 copies of the monthly sales report she'd slaved over for hours that morning. She'd worked through lunch. She was starving. When she knocked on the partially open front door, Jerry called, "Come in. Shut the door and come out back." She found Jerry drinking a beer on the back deck, dressed in a tank top and a pair of baggy cutoffs. He sprawled on a beach chair. Next to him was an open cooler. On a small table sat a plate of olives. Jerry picked up a giant olive and sucked it suggestively, saying, "I can't get enough of these." Shocked and already boiling in her suit in the blazing sun, Olivia just stared. "So sit. What do you want to tell me about you?" her manager said. Olivia handed him her report. He tossed it aside. Olivia said, "I'll be glad to talk through my projections." "Projections?" Jerry asked, ogling Olivia's chest. When Olivia just stared back at him, Jerry scowled and began telling her everything wrong with her as a salesperson. Although he hired her because she had excellent skills, Jerry really believed that women had no place in sales, which he went on to explain. Olivia reached into her jacket pocket and pressed the record button on her smartphone. "My sales figures in the report you just tossed away speak to my ability," Olivia stated in a clear, crisp voice. "Figures," Jerry slurred, leering at Olivia's chest and looking pleased with himself. He patted his lap. "It's hot. Why don't you take off your jacket and come sit here, and we'll talk about your figures." "On your lap?" Olivia asked again in a clear voice. "Something wrong with your hearing?" Jerry said, patting his lap. Olivia wheeled around as Jerry called out, "Bye-bye." She then went straight to Kinko's and made 5 copies of her time-dated recording, 1 each for the company's CEO's and Human Resources Officer, another for the state's Human Rights Commission, and 1 for her attorney and herself. Instead of sinking to her boss bully's level, Olivia took prompt, decisive action, and Jerry learned that regulatory agencies didn't like managers who demeaned and sexually harassed employees. Bully trap number 5. Submission. Pleading, apologizing, or giving in. Carla spread stories about Anne based on nuggets of information she gleaned after plying Anne with wine. When Anne confronted Carla denied any knowledge of the stories. Anne knew better and pleaded, "Please stop doing this." "Can't help you," Carla responded. "Carla, I'm desperate," Anne begged. Did begging work? No. In Chapter 1, Ariel mercilessly took advantage of Tova. After Ariel stiffed Tova twice, Tova said in a soft voice, "The first one's my treat, of course. But do you think you could pay me back for one of them?" When Ariel gave Tova her, "Are you kidding me?" look, Tova backed off. Later, Tova said, "I don't mean to be pushy." "Then don't be," was Ariel's response. When you beg, plead, or give in, you signal that your bully has the upper hand. Not a wise move, as bullies believe that weak individuals deserve poor treatment. Stop expecting compassion from bullies. They respect only strength and power. What makes bullies change? Negative consequences to them. Climb out of this trap by remembering what matters to your bully: herself and her needs. Show bullies what they win or lose if they treat you differently. Don't be afraid to firmly and professionally dish out negative consequences, as Annette, Chapter 1, demonstrated when she forwarded bully Andy's stormy email to their supervisor in Human Resources. For more insights on alternatives to pleading, check out Chapters 9 and 10. Bully trap number 6. Passivity. Not standing up to or appeasing the bully. Those who work around loudmouthed, negative, complaining bullies like Chapter 4's Camille often think they chose the right path by listening obediently and remaining passive. Other targets try to appease their bullies. When you let bullies push you around because they may get ugly if you don't, you play a losing game. Bullies know others back down in the face of aggression, so they play your fear to their advantage. Never make an unhealthy compromise to prevent a confrontation. If a bully criticizes you unfairly, and yes, the bully realizes it's unfair, and you back off, you show the bully you can be pushed around. Further, because Camille-type bullies view those who listen as on their side, you inspire true fury when you betray them later by voicing contrary opinions. Worse, when you try to appease a bully, you erode your own self-esteem to the point where you may feel you deserve the bullying you receive. Bullies hesitate, however, to joust with those willing to stand up to them. Jillian proved this. Jillian had just been hired as a contract employee for a large computer networking company and assigned a desk next to Nellie. Nellie and Jillian were given space in the accounting area, on a different floor from their IT coworkers, because their manager wanted Nellie to orient Jillian, and there wasn't room for both women in the network administration area. The move angered Nellie. On her first day, Jillian greeted Nellie by saying, "Hi, I'm looking forward to working with you. I hope we can be good teammates." "Because of you, I'm stuck over here," Nellie said, glowering. "Hopefully not for long." The next week, Nellie put in a request to be moved back to the network administration area. When she learned her request had been denied, she threw a temper tantrum. "I'm sorry," Jillian said. "I can't do anything about it." "You could leave," snarled Nellie. The next day, Nellie sent Jillian a lengthy email saying she noticed an odor emanating from Jillian. "It's not a bad odor. You don't stink. It's just that I'm sensitive to something you're wearing." Nellie copied the Human Resources representative who visited both Nellie and Jillian. The HR officer asked Jillian, "Could you avoid any fragrances, including ones in your shampoo, conditioner, laundry detergent, and body lotion?" "Sure," said Jillian. 2 days later, Nellie emailed Jillian, copying HR, "There's still an odor." Jillian emailed back, also copying HR. "It isn't me. I wish it was. I could fix it if it was me. I know you want to sit with the others in IT, but I'm surprised. Surely there must be odors in that larger group." "That," said Jillian, stopped her cold. Climb out of the "maybe if I appease them they'll let me be" trap by deciding you'll stand up to the bully. For strategies on how to do this, read Chapters 9 through 11. Bully trap number 7. Gullibility. Believing lies and chasing trumped-up issues. Bernard, the drill sergeant wannabe boss, Chapter 4, made up bogus stories accusing his employees of problems they'd supposedly caused co-workers or customers. When Bernard's targets apologized, or asked their co-workers or customers what they'd done to offend, they learned the co-workers or customers hadn't accused them of anything. As a result, they felt embarrassed. Pauline intimidated and manipulated head nurse Molly with daily trumped-up problems. Pauline convinced Molly that she had unwittingly exposed the clinic to serious legal and risk management problems by ignoring arcane regulations. Molly wasted weeks searching for remedies to the problems she had allegedly caused, and was so devastated by Pauline's accusations that she avoided talking to the physicians, the one group that could have reined in Pauline. Though Pauline quickly became known for storming into the clinic and accusing others of not handling matters she'd let slide, making some employees cry, she accused Molly of creating a hostile workplace. According to Pauline, an employee had texted her alleging Molly had yelled. Molly, never a shouter, was horrified, wondering how anyone could have accused her, never realizing Pauline had played her. Bullies can hide in plain sight if they keep your attention and energy focused on confronting phony, trumped-up issues while they plan or perfect their onslaught. Sidestep this trap. Never take what a bully says at face value. If you're falsely accused, call the bully on it with humor as in, "Nice try," or by firmly stating, "Not a chance." You'll find strategies on how to do this in chapters 9 and 11. Bully trap number 8. Isolation. Letting the bully cut you off from others. After Chapter 1's Martin trashed Laura's reputation to her clients and others in the industry, Laura avoided industry gatherings. Before this happened, Laura had regularly called clients to check in with them. Now Laura stopped calling, fearing they'd heard the mean stories. As a result, some began to wonder if the rumors they'd heard were true. Sonia longed to make friends with her coworkers, but every time she tried to join the others for lunch in the break room, Alice smirked at her, making Sonia feel unwelcome. As a result, Sonia ate lunch in her cubicle. Just as a wolf pack steers a caribou calf away from the herd, bullies isolate their targets. If you allow a bully to isolate you, you give your bully greater control over you, even carte blanche to do as he wishes. You become an easier target. Because you're not around others who could help defend you, the bully can spread rumors about you or even convince others you're the problem. Never give in to a bully's isolation ploy. Jump out of this trap by making friends with coworkers, acquiring allies, establishing an active relationship with your supervisor, and building a strong reputation. Bullies don't attack those with allies and a wide, deep power base. If a bully attacks you, your allies can rally support for you and lead others to question the bully's motives and honesty. Coworkers and clients who respect and like you can deter and help you survive a bully's attacks. Bullies don't want to go after someone with powerful allies who might turn on them. If your bully, like Alice with Sonia, makes you feel unwelcome joining others, realize that your bully hopes to deepen your slide into the isolation trap. Next, given the importance of your supervisor's opinion to your career, never let a bully get between you and your supervisor. Establish a reputation for quality work and a solid work ethic. Carefully document your accomplishments and keep your supervisor informed so no one can claim that you neglected your work or take credit for your efforts. It takes sustained effort to build a stellar reputation. Act with integrity at all times. Seize opportunities to increase your visibility and to be seen for the quality individual you are. Or, if like Laura you had good relationships with clients, never allow a bully to get between you and those who can support you. Your turn. Where are you now? If any of the things described below never happened to you, imagine they did and answer the questions as if they had. 1. Have you hoped, like Adam, that a workplace bully would come around if you were nice enough? What led you to do so? What happened? 2. When a workplace bully abused you, did you tell your supervisor? Or, like Adam, did you remain silent for fear your supervisor would see it as your problem? What led you to have this fear? What do you wish you'd done instead? 3. Have you tried to ignore that you were bullied because you couldn't believe it was happening? How will you keep yourself from doing this again? When did you finally acknowledge what was happening? What inspired you to deal with reality? 4. Have you given a bully an outpost in your head by taking in what he or she said or did as if it was your fault or you deserved it? What led you to do so? 5. Have you, like Anne, beaten yourself up for falling prey to a bully's manipulation? If so, you're attacking the wrong person. If you were your own best friend, would you say, "You're to blame"? Or would you say, "You fell victim, and now let's get you safe again"? 6. Has a bully flattened your self-esteem? How? 7. If you were Molly's or Sonia's friend, what would you have told them? 8. Have you fallen into the expecting the bully to change trap? How did you climb out of it if you did? If you haven't, what might you do now? 9. Have you ever pleaded with or given in to a bully? What led you to beg, and how did it make you feel? What was the effect on the bully? What do you wish you'd done instead? 10. What do you think standing up for yourself means in your situation? How do you plan to do it? Pick a method and start putting it into practice within 24 hours. 11. Has a bully ever led you astray with a trumped-up accusation? What led you to fall for it? What will you do differently next time? 12. Has a bully ever made you feel like you couldn't connect with your coworkers or supervisor? What do you or did you risk by letting yourself be isolated? 13. How do you plan to more actively build relationships with others so you're not isolated or such easy prey? Take 2 steps this week toward increasing your network or deepening your work relationships. 14. How would you describe your relationship with your supervisor? Take steps this week to increase your communication with your supervisor so you'll have an open channel should you need it. 15. How do you plan to keep your supervisor aware of your efforts, the quality of your work, and your work ethic? What will the positive effect of providing your supervisor regular emails on your accomplishments be? Develop a strategy for documenting your successes. Take at least 1 step to implement your strategy within the next 7 days. 16. What's your visibility within your organization? Are there ways you can strengthen it? 17. What's your reputation? What reputation do you want? What is your game plan for enhancing your reputation? Chapter 22 offers a step-by-step method for creating a game plan for this or any other goal you select. 8. How to overcome the bully's favorite weapon: an outpost in your mind. I was always looking outside myself for strength and confidence, but it comes from within. It is there all the time. Anna Freud. On her first day of work, Julie's supervisor sat her down and told her Stevie would orient her. Julie waited hours for Stevie to arrive and then sought her out. Stevie didn't waste any time telling Julie that she wasn't the applicant Stevie would have hired. Hurt, Julie asked, "Why?" Stevie said in a frosty voice, It's obvious. You've only worked in a small, family-owned business and don't have the sophistication this corporate position needs. You don't even dress properly. Julie swallowed her pride, pushed her hurt aside, and told Stevie she knew she could learn if Stevie coached her. Stevie twisted her mouth scornfully and turned back to her computer screen. Julie, not knowing what to say, left the room. Julie tried to pretend that what Stevie said didn't get to her, but it did. Stevie's orientation consisted of giving Julie a list of manager and employee names with phone extensions and telling her where she could park her car and find a bathroom. When Julie questioned Stevie about where to find documents on the server, Stevie told her she'd learn her way around the server best if she explored it by herself, and she needed to stop expecting others to do her work for her. Stevie did, however, act as Julie's personal fashion police, with daily insults about her makeup or what she wore. A typical exchange went like this. "You should go to Nordstrom and get a new pair of shoes." "What's wrong with these?" Julie asked. "If you need to ask," Stevie said in a dill-pickle sour voice. "Well, look around at what everyone else is wearing." Julie looked at her shoes, saw a couple scuff marks, and responded, "I'll wear a different pair tomorrow." "I doubt those will be any better," scoffed Stevie, turning on her stylish $300 heels and heading down the hallway. Judgmental bullies like Stevie lurk in many organizations. Give them minor power and they use it to knock others down so they can feel taller. Like mosquitoes that fuel themselves on human blood, they feed off your reaction to their words, the subsequent humiliation, fear, or compliance that results from their intimidation of you. If you redden, wince, look down or away, or say, "That hurts," you give these parasites a free ride. These bullies try to control you at a deep level, attacking your own sense of yourself. The bully wants to turn you against you. Don't allow a judgmental bully's venom to seep into your brain. While you can clearly see vicious Stevie for who and what she is, you may have a harder time seeing how a bully in your work life has played "let's pretend," making you believe her made-up image of you is real. You may even come to believe that there's painful truth to the person's disparaging descriptions of you. That's because a bully's words have the power to hook your attention, enter your mind, and change your outlook on life, causing you to lose your inner rudder. To see how quickly this happens, try this experiment. Answer this question out loud. What color is snow? Then answer this question. What do cows drink? If you responded white when asked about snow, you might have said that cows drink milk instead of water. How come? The word white hooked your attention and entered your mind. Bullies who put you down with their words invalidate you by trespassing across your emotional and mental boundaries. Images also ensnare your mind, such as the image a bully paints of you when the bully accidentally allows you to overhear a vicious comment such as, "That stupid fat cow in accounting," or, "Did you see how he stammered and the spittle came out of the corner of his mouth?" Let's experience the power of an image. Imagine that a friend has invited you over for dessert and asks which ice cream flavors you prefer. You say you love chocolate chunk brownie and toasted coconut almond. Your friend puts a scoop of each into a bowl. "But I'm on a diet," you say. Your friend responds, "That's the best part. These have been made with low-fat, low-sugar organic fruit, yet taste like the richest ice cream." You're handed a spoon as your friend adds, "Try some of this melted dark chocolate on top. It has almost no fat." Can you imagine tasting that dessert? If you can, you've just experienced the power of an image created by another's words. When you mentally ingest a bully's caustic comments, you allow them to poison your self-esteem and weaken your spirit. Once you eat the bully's garbage, it becomes your garbage, and you stop believing in yourself, your abilities, and your right to be treated reasonably. You may even collude with a bully's put-downs by further tearing yourself down. Soon you're doing the bully's beat you up and beat you down work in your own mind. You find yourself saying, "He thinks I'm stupid. I wonder if he's right. She said I acted like a fool. Everyone's probably laughing at me." Or, "What's the matter with me anyway? The boss is right. I never do things right." You've thus handed the remote control for your life over to the bully, who uses it to ravage your self-worth. Become your own gatekeeper. Don't let the bully in. Now that you know what happens inside your head when a bully invades your mental boundaries, you can decide whether you want to give the bully an outpost in your mind, or if you prefer to be the gatekeeper who says, "You're not coming in here. I'm in charge of what I think about me." When you accept a bully's definition of you, you cast aside your own experience. If you wouldn't let another person stomp on your foot or physically slam you off balance, don't let a bully stomp on your spirit or bump into and push you over inside your head. Don't let a bully rent space in your head. You are the landlord. Take the first step by deciding that no one has the right to turn you against yourself. You'll treat nonsense as what it is, something that makes no sense. Build your mental Kevlar. Listen to this list of words. Which one describes you? Honest, caring, generous, kind, loyal, compassionate, responsible, funny, genuine, enthusiastic, fair, natural, imaginative, understanding, intuitive, perceptive, good-hearted, open-minded, fun-loving, creative, resourceful. How many? 10? 15? All 21? If even 5 of them fit you, you possess admirable qualities. Have you let a bully brainwash you into forgetting that? Next, create a list of 5 more positive words that describe you. Take a look at your list. Would you want a friend who has the positive qualities you've listed? Of course you would. By creating and affirming your positive attributes, you honor the person you are. And the next time a bully's words try to hitch a ride in your head, you can say, "This car is full." Add depth to your Kevlar. Take a moment to think of 2 challenges you handled well or at least survived. What do these experiences tell you about your strength and resilience? If you start to pick on yourself over mistakes you've made, take a look at that. How much bully poison in the form of destructive words and labels have you absorbed? How often do you function as your own worst critic? Each time you do, you magnetize yourself to attract bullies. You'll find more about how to change this ingrained pattern in Chapter 11. For now, remember you have the capacity to learn new self-talk and become your own cheerleader. Refuse to play the bully's disenabling game. If you're reading this book, you've survived and have good instincts. You have an inner rudder you can trust as you develop new skills and strategies. Heal your inner wounds by reprogramming your mind. Most of us have one or more emotional Achilles heels. Bullies aim for these as if they had radar. They can't, however, open wounds you've healed. Do you have some weak areas? Perhaps a self-critical statement that rises to the surface when you're having a bad day. You can nuke any self-doubting statement using a neuro-linguistic, the mind's language, programming strategy called Change Your Mental Tape Recorder. Pick a statement or tape that weakens you. For example, "I'll never be brave," or "Other people are smarter than I am." You can dismantle a tape like this by repeating it 7 times in 7 different ways, until it loses all or much of the power it holds over you. Imagine that you have a tape recorder in your mind. Turn to the dial marked Tape 1 on the left front of the tape recorder. Whatever statement or tape you've picked, hear it played or said once loudly in your mind. Hear it again said softly. Hear it again said very slowly. Then hear it said very quickly as if recorded at hyperspeed. Now hear it with merry-go-round music playing in the background. Hear it again accompanied by Wagnerian music such as The Ride of the Valkyries, with cymbals clanging and drums banging. Hear it one final time as if Bugs Bunny, or another cartoon character, perhaps one with a deep accent or a slight lisp, might say it. Has it become harder to take this tape seriously? Now, turn the dial on the far left off, and turn to the dial marked New Tape on the right front of the tape recorder. Create and let yourself hear out loud an affirmative statement, perhaps, "I show courage," or "I am ethical and determined." Hear this statement said again and again in a clear, firm, positive voice. What's the feeling you get? You can uproot any negative statement that's damaged your heart or spirit using the mental tape recorder strategy. Take a moment to write a list of other positive, affirming statements that describe the true you. You're starting to free yourself of the bully's verbal tyranny and to declare your own war of independence. Take back your power. Confront mental manipulation. You're now ready to let bullies know their cruel remarks slide off you like water off Teflon. Short statements work well. If your bully asks, "Where'd you come up with this crap?" or says, "You're too sensitive," or "That was a dumb move," respond by saying, "I'm not playing. Game over. Nonsense," or "Nice bait." By speaking up, you take back your power and break the spell the bully tried to cast over you. Your bully may demand, "What do you mean?" or "What game?" If so, you've taken control. Your bully is now reacting to you rather than the other way around. Congratulations. You don't need to take a bully's bait or respond to his harmful, negative questions. Just shake your head. You no longer take what a bully says personally. Instead, you simply witness a failed attempt to bully you. Your turn. Where are you now? If any of the things described below never happened to you, imagine they did and answer the questions as if they had. 1. What bully words or characterizations of you have recently hooked your attention or crept into your mind? Take any one of them, make it into a statement, and practice neutralizing it by using the mental tape recorder strategy. Did this exercise change your outlook? How might changing your outlook change your life? 2. When you heard about Stevie putting Julie down, what did you want to say to Stevie? To Julie? What would you like to say to one of the bullies in your work life? If you were your best friend, what would you say to yourself? By the way, you can be and are your own best friend. 3. What do you think of the 5 positive words you wrote about yourself? Place this list in a private computer file or in a paper file you keep in your work area or at home, and add to it regularly. Once a week, take it out, read it aloud, and let these words sink in. What's the impact of being your own cheerleader? Do more personal cheerleading in the coming weeks until it comes naturally. What's the effect of this cheerleading? Does it start to come naturally? If not, do more of it. 4. Take some time this week to review challenges you've successfully mastered. Reflecting on them, what is true about your determination, resilience, willpower, and inner strength? Take some time to write in your private journal or simply to think about the strong person you are. If you have a close friend you share insights with, tell this friend what you're learning about yourself. 5. Practice the mental tape recorder exercise at least once a week on a tape you want to nuke. When you reflect on the voice you hear in your head as you repeat tape 1, does it sound like a parent? When you hear tape 2, does it sound like your own voice? You may be carrying voices from the past in your head. Replace them with your own voice and statements. 6. Think of a current difficulty you wish didn't exist. How are you reacting to it? What happens to your breathing and muscle tension when you think about it? What feelings does it arouse? What strategies have you employed thus far to handle it? 7. Practice in your own mind statements like, "I'm not playing," "nonsense," "nice bait," and "game over." The next time a workplace bully gives you an opportunity for real-life practice, use them out loud on the bully. How did they work? Take some time to enjoy watching attempts to bully you go down in defeat. 8. What other mental habits or attitudes do you want to get rid of? Pick one and work on it this week. 9. What new initiatives would you like to start? 10. Who in your work life tries to control you? What have you learned that can help you stop them?